So at one level, the answer is very simple. He notes, he basically follows Calvin, that we simply have no warrant to speculate on Christology anyway, kind of thing, incarnation anyway. The scriptures tell us that Christ came to redeem sinners, and that the necessity of the incarnation is governed by redemption. In other words, Jesus comes in order to save sinners. Yet every fiber of Bavinck's being is pointing in a supralapsarian direction. So we have this flat rejection, that you just can't say this, but the whole structure of his thought is thoroughly supralapsarian. That this can be traced out in lots of different inferences and also necessary corollaries or entailments of his positions. So it creates this kind of tension, an interesting tension in his thought, that he denies this and you're not allowed to say it. But a great deal of his thinking points in this direction. And I guess one of the interesting things, Edwin von Driel published a book on supralapsarian Christologies where he looks at, I think from memory, Schleiermacher, Barth, and Dorner. And one of the interesting things is the influence of Dorner on Bavinck's theology. So I believe he was given a copy of Dorner's big Christology book as a gift from a congregation. And this source, one of the things I show is that a lot of the things Bavinck says, it's not attributed to Dorner's book. But if you look up Dorner's book, this is where he gets it from, even the language. Like you can trace the words, the expressions. So it's an area of research that's waiting to be done on the relationship between Dorner and Bavinck, particularly in the doctrine of God, because these phrases like modes of being, which become famous in readership of Karl Barth, they derive from Bavinck and Dorner. So Bavinck uses this term. It's less visible in the English translation of Reformed Dogmatics. It's not actually it's not actually given in those frames, in those very words. But even in Dutch, Bestaansweisen actually is not immediately as close to Zijnsweise, but it's there. And both Bavinck and Barth are following Dorner, as well as Dorner's idea of absolute personality is something which crops up again in both Bavinck and Barth. So the relationship in which both of these thinkers stand to Dorner is something that's really worth thinking about, particularly in this supralapsarian impulse in much of Bavinck's thinking.